Okay, and we're live. I'm just mixing up my candy melts here. So I got some pink, and we're gonna add a little bit of vegetable oil to this, just to thin it out a little bit so it's easier for coating. Still on the thick side, so I'm still gonna add a little bit more. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna try and fix up the other ones really quick. One moment while I got some water. Okay. Now we got some, I think this is turquoise. Let's raise the camera up just a little bit. Make it a little easier to see here. Hopefully, yeah. Stay. Okay. And again, some vegetable oil. Just mixing up our colors. And again, I've mentioned this before, but with candy melts, I never really have an exact amount of vegetable oil that I'll add because it's just kind of like, I've seen that some different batches are thicker than others. So you just kind of have to go by sight. That looks pretty good. I might need to add some more later, but we're gonna stick with that for now. And we got some light green. Okay, it still has some little chunks in it, so I need to continue melting this one a little bit more. Okay, and while that is going on, I'm going to take some caramel and roll it out. And we don't need very much because I'm working with pretzel sticks today. I'm gonna grab them out. So pretzel sticks are gonna be cute little itty bitty pretzel treats. You can also do these with pretzel rods. I did like a wizard wand thing with this where I wrap caramel around it, and I think that one was a butterscotch ganache, but or modeling chocolate. But today we're wrapping it with caramel, and it's inspired by someone that I follow on both Instagram and TikTok is Baked by Precious, and she always makes these cute little pretzel treats that are wrapped in caramel. And so I decided to take some of my cookie butter salted caramel, and we're gonna make some pretzel, like mini pretzel treats, basically. We could certainly do this with pretzel rods, a little bit bigger, but I thought these would be like the cutest little teeny tiny treats. My apologies for my throat today. We had a ton of rain, and then all of a sudden it's like bright and sunny. So of course, all of the allergies are happening now. Okay, we're also checking on our green. Our light green, I should say. Okay, There, we're nice and melted. We're gonna add some vegetable oil. We're just kind of getting these ready ahead of time, and then we might have to remelt them, but at least they're good to go with the vegetable oil. I love this light green color. It's almost like a mint green. They look pretty good. Like I mentioned earlier, we might have to add a little bit more vegetable oil later when we're actually fully going to be coating it, but let's get back to our caramel. Oopsie. One moment, please. I was trying to close up the vegetable oil and the cap went flying into the candy melts. Okay, that's good for now. Okay, back to this. So we're gonna take some caramel, and room temperature will allow us to kind of, it's nice and pliable, it's not too hard. So just nice, a little ball like this, and then we're just gonna roll it. Obviously our hands are nice and clean. Okay, this looks pretty good. We're gonna take our little pretzel treat, and then we're just gonna kind of pop it on top here and twist. It's like a nice little spiral going down the pretzel. And I think I wanna be able to have the tip to dip. So I'm gonna tear this little piece off and then just go like that. Nice little wrapped pretzel. Let's do another one. Another little piece, and roll, roll, roll. Okay, I might get a little bit like that, but that's okay. Just continuing to roll. And once again, kind of at the top, secure it a little bit. And then we're wrapping. Just like that. And I'll do just a couple more and then pop these in the fridge for just a minute or so, just to kind of lightly firm up the caramel before we dip it. This one doesn't want to stay together. I'm just going to tear that piece off now. Okay. And secure at the top. And wrap. Just like that. Just kind of clean it up a little bit. Just like that. There we got another one already rolled out. There we go. And these don't have to be perfect. It's a little bit thinner right there, but that's okay. Okay, let me at least pop these ones in the fridge. Oh, and let me check the chat, make sure. Okay, as always, if you have any questions, let me know. grab. Okay, I'm just gonna stick these on a little piece of parchment paper and pop it in the fridge. Okay. So while those are setting, let's make a few more. And like I said, if you have questions, comments, tell me how your day's going. I can chat a little bit while I do some more wrapping. Rolling and wrapping, I should say. Let's grab another piece of caramel. And this is that cookie butter salted caramel that if you saw my live from a couple of weeks ago when we made homemade Twix hearts, this is that same recipe, cookie butter salted caramel. Like a delicious edible Play-Doh. And kind of secure it. Hello. That's my dog. You want to say hi? Okay, and some more wrapping here. This is definitely the most tedious part, is just rolling it out. But these are a nice little treat that you can put on a little, maybe like treat sampler plate, or just a nice little bite of like salty pretzel with a nice chewy cookie butter salted caramel. All right, check the chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. We are still good. I'm gonna wrap or do a couple more, and then we're gonna go back to check on our candy melts, remelt them probably. The rolling part, like I said, is a bit tedious, but these are very cute, and you can do a whole bunch of different colors, and you can do different sprinkles. It does not want to stay. This one just does not want to cooperate. Redo you. I think if my hands get a little bit too sticky, then it starts to kind of rip the caramel apart. So okay. Like I said, let's do a couple more of these. All the ones in the fridge are still kind of setting a little bit. I want it nice and thin, not too thin, obviously, but a nice, pretty good consistency. Maybe just slightly thicker or about the same size as the pretzel itself. Yeah, see, so clean off your fingers in between if you're doing this. That might help if you have a caramel issue that I was just having. That should help it. And let's do one more before we grab our stuff out of the fridge. This one doesn't want to work with me. Let's grab another little chunk out. There we go. Okay, we're rolling. You see, I need to clean off my fingers again. I'm just gonna touch those up. Just like that. Just gonna make sure it all sticks. Okay. Now I've done a few of those, but let's get back to our ones that are in the fridge. But right before we do that, let's check on our candy melts. Starting to set on the outside here, so we definitely want to remelt it. Stick these all in the microwave. And we don't want to do too much, so let's do like 20 seconds to start. And we'll grab my pretzels out of the fridge. Okay, the caramel's nice and firmed up. It didn't take too long to do that because it's a nice small piece. I'm gonna stick these ones in the fridge so they can set as well. And again, we're doing that because we want the caramel to be nice and firm again before we dip them. Or else it might try and fall off, which we do not want. All right, now we're also grabbing our candy melts. Here's our pink. It's looking pretty good, but it's still a little bit firm on the edges. So maybe another 10 to 15 seconds. Just gonna give our turquoise a stir. Kind of the same thing. And also gotta give our light green a little zhuzh. This one's looking pretty good, but again, probably like 10 seconds. Okay. Let me check the chat, make sure I haven't missed anything. We're still good. Okay. Oh, a couple seconds left. Okay. So we're gonna double check our consistency here. It's nice and melty. Kind of flows off, but I feel like it needs a little bit more. I think all of these need just a little bit more vegetable oil. Not too much, but definitely some. And the point of that, it makes it easier to actually coat and not have it get all clumpy on what we're coating. Okay, that looks really pretty good. See, it goes kind of back into the candy melts pretty well. It's a balance of finding a pretty good consistency, but also making sure that you don't add too much, or else, you know, as soon as you touch it, it'll actually just melt because of the warmth from your hands if you add too much. And it also really won't set very well. So it's all about the balance. That looks pretty good. Final one, our light green. And we look good. Okay, so let's start with, let's do pink since I have her right here. Okay, so you can either dip it right in or you can help use the spoon to help you. I'm gonna make sure our caramel gets fully coated. You could coat the entire thing, but I want a little teeny bit of the stick showing. I'm just gonna go tap, 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 tap. Get off that excess. And see, it's a little bit thick right there, but it's all good. So what we can do before it sets with this one, let's add some really pretty spring nonpareils. Yeah, right there. Beautiful. Okay. Let's do a different color. Let's do the minty green color. Again, give it a nice mix. This one, I think I want to try dipping it to see how that goes compared to using the spoon. Oh, that works a lot better. Just kind of scraping off the bottom just so it doesn't pool too much on there. Just like that. We're gonna let that one set before we add anything to it. Next, let's do our turquoise. And then just a light little like that. Let's do one more pink for good measure. And these shouldn't take too long to set, but I can tell they still have that, you know, it's still not completely set look. This one is, you can see the difference. It's nice and shiny. This one's kind of like a matte. So we're not done. I'll grab the other ones out of the fridge so we can coat those too. do another minty green. And shake, 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 shake. I think with that one, we'll be able to break off that little bit on the bottom after it sets. This one, I'd like to add some of these lovely sprinkles. I think the spring nonpareils are some of my favorite, just because the pastel colors are so pretty and perfect for this time of year. Let's do another turquoise. I see it's pulling a little bit, so you could actually pull it a little. That'll easily snap off. Let's do another turquoise since I have it right here in my hand. Could also do lavender, would be absolutely gorgeous on these. You don't want to scrape too much off. You still want it to be coated. And final one, let's do, let's do another pinky. Okay. Just like that. Oops. Okay. All right, so we're done. Actually, let's do a couple drizzles on it, but first I'm gonna double check I didn't miss anything in the chat. Oh, have you ever used or run into any issues with using vegetable oil to smoothen out the chocolate? As I mentioned before, definitely make sure to not add too much because it won't properly set. It'll just have too much vegetable oil, and also like at the touch of your finger because of the warmth. Vegetable oil at room temperature is, kind of liquid. So definitely make sure don't add too much to it. Overall, I feel like it works out pretty well for me. You can also use Easy Thin. I know a lot of people like to use that. I haven't personally tried it, but I've been curious to see what the difference is. So I might pick up some of those and try it out. Yeah, that's pretty much the main issues I can think of. Is just if you add too much, it won't set. But overall, for me, it works out pretty well. And also I have it on hand, which is another reason I use that instead of Easy Thin because, we have it for other cooking. You're welcome. Thanks so much for asking the question. Let me grab a piping bag. And I think these need to be, I am going to melt the pink one a little bit, just like 10 to 15 seconds. Not much time needed at all. And of course you could do some you could do some really nice little Jimmy sprinkles, I think is what these are called, and then some sugar sprinkles. I'm gonna grab a couple little eggs out because of course these are perfect for Easter. And oh, I just remembered I have, one sec. I have these cute little itty bitty flower sprinkles. So those would be great as well. Let's grab our candy melts out. I'm going to stick these in a piping bag, but it's kind of hard to do it right here, so I'll do it right off camera. Of course, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them in the chat, or just let me know how your day's going. It's very sunshiny today. I'm hoping I can get some good pictures and video by the window for some upcoming stuff. Okay. So it's in our piping bag. I always like to smooth this down a little bit. And these are actually some new piping bags I'm trying out because Joann's has a different brand they're starting to use more than Wilton, and it's called Stir. And I usually use Wilton bags, but decided to try out their Stir bags. That's the brand. Okay. I always do a little quick test to make sure it'll come out in the bowl. And then let's do pink drizzle over our, let's do the green one. Just a nice light drizzle. All the rest of the stuff will break off. And let's also do one of the turquoise as well. And while that's setting, actually I'm gonna pipe the candy melts back in to the bowl so that they won't harden in the bag. It can still come out, you can still definitely get it out, but it is much easier to get it out sometimes if you just pipe it right back into the bowl and then just remelt it before you need it again. Let's see, I think I want to add some let's add a nice little minty green. And let's do lavender. And let's do a blue because it's slightly different blue. Actually, it's pretty different blue. Just popping sprinkles on like that, and then we can also do some sugar sprinkles while it's still not set yet over that. And let's see, let's do, I'm gonna pop these in the microwave and do the same thing, pop them into a piping bag after. Make sure I haven't missed any questions. We are still good. And we're actually almost done with this. And I'm cutting a little teeny bit of the tip off. You can always cut more. You want a nice thin drizzle. And I have this cute little sprinkle mix here that I've had for a while. Come out. And again, just putting it on there before it sets. This is probably one of my favorite Easter sprinkle mixes, but I don't know that I've seen it in any kind of recent time. I hope they still make it because I love it. Let's see. Oh, let's do some of those little flowers and kick you off. You're not supposed to be on this one. There. Let's do some cute little flowers on here. Get back up there. And of course you can do a whole combination of, I think of my foot tweezers. That one's in the tricky spot. Stay. There's so many combinations you can do of colors and sprinkles and all that fun stuff. Like I said, lavender would be a lovely base for these. What else do I want to do? I'm done with those. Let's see what other fun little... I have a little yellow bunny head here that I can add maybe right at the bottom as a little accent. Just like that. So you can keep it simple too, not just cover it in sprinkles, and keep it very simplistic. And what do I want to do with that pink one? Ooh, we can add these ones. These are pearlized jimmies. I love the pearlized sprinkles, pretty much anything, because it just has like this really nice little metallic sheen to it. So with that one, we're focusing on that. I'm gonna use my kitchen torch just to lightly melt it, and then I'll put some of these sprinkles on. We want to move quick. We don't want to move too close to it, or else we will burn the parchment paper. And while it's melty, I'm just going to add some sprinkles to the top. Jimmies aren't my favorite sprinkle, but I like to use them ever so often, just to switch things up. Okay, and that's it for these ones. I think I saw a couple comments come in, so let me check the chat. But this is all we're doing today, are these cute little simple treats. You could add to a nice little treat box assortment, or honestly just by themselves. The nice, like I said, the caramel plus the salty pretzel is delicious. Come here, I'm gonna check the chat again. Oh, Ashley says, I love this idea of doing minis. Never seen the version, so thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Yes, let me know how your minis work out. I'd love to see those. The colors are so pretty together too. I know, I love all the spring colors. All the pastels are so cute. Thanks again for being here. I really appreciate it. And I love mini things, so that's why like this idea popped in my head and I was like, I have to try it. And then Shannon says, can you reheat the candy melts in the piping bag? I've heard that you can do that, but I always am cautious of that just because it is plastic. So I always just kind of go on the cautious side and just either pipe them right back in here, or like I said, if you have them in the piping bag and like you can't pipe it out, like it started to set already, just let it fully set, and then you can literally just get the chunk right out and pop it back into the bowl to remelt it. So again, I haven't tried it myself personally. I've heard of other people doing it, but I'm kind of feeling about it. So yeah, I err on the side of caution when it comes to that. Let me know if you have any other questions or comments, because we are done. But if anybody else has anything, let me finish these off a little bit. Edible glitter makes everything so sparkly and pretty. Okay, and while I give people a chance to say any other questions they might have in the chat, I'm gonna just break off these. And you can pop these back in the bowl and remelt them, or keep them separate if you don't want like the edible glitter on them or something. And if they have sprinkles, you can still remelt them and use them in different ways. You could use them for bark, something like that. Let's see how this one turned out. A little sugar sprinkle one. That's pretty nice. They're so cute. Thank you so much. I definitely will need to make some more of these because I've had this idea for a little while and I don't know why it took me this long to finally try it. But of course you can do these also for any holiday. You can apply to all the different fun sprinkles and colors. So there's this stuff on the side. You can easily just lightly kind of break that off and clean it up a little bit. And these ones are done as well. So that's everything. Which one is your favorite? I don't know. I really like the simplicity of the nonpareils, but I also do really love the combination of the colors on this one. Let me see. I think I saw something come in the chat. Let's see. Thank you. I agree. Reheating plastic in micro sounds not great, but love the idea of letting it harden so it doesn't go to waste. Yes, of course. I always love to do that with letting it either harden in the bag, like I said, or piping it back in. Because I also like to reuse the bag as much as possible. I don't like to, you know, use it one and done. I try to use it if it's the same candy melts, the same batch, all that kind of stuff. I try to make sure I get as much use out of it as possible. I think I saw another comment come through. They seem tedious, but so worth it. At the end result, the sugar sprinkle is my fave. The sugar sprinkle one's cute too. Yes, the caramel part is definitely, it's tedious to like, you know, roll it out and do that whole thing. But again, I love minis. So the pretzel rods are a bit big, you know, so that's why I think also I was very excited to try this idea. I like the little bite-sized kind of treats. So any final comments or questions? One more time, check in the chat. As always, think this was fun. Thank you so much for joining, Shannon. I truly appreciate you guys being here. And it looks like that's all of our questions and comments for today. Thank you guys again so much for being here. I have another tutorial video coming very, very soon, and it's a hot chocolate bomb. Very excited to share that. And of course, we'll have another live next week. So I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thanks again for joining, and I will see you later. Bye.